S.H Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan Gotenks was released here in Japan on the 27th of October, making it the 10th released in Tamashii's 2018 scheduled lineup. And for me personally, this is one of the figures I've been really looking forward to. It's a completely new mold, no reused parts, and just a figure that I'm really excited to finally have in hand. For the packaging, really nothing new to mention here, except it is the first time for me to see this Tamashii Nation's quality control, quality seal. Don't really know what it means, but I imagine it's some kind of quality reassurance marking. So yeah, better not let us down, Tamashii. Once you put the seal on, there's kind of no turning back. But in saying that, Tamashii has been pretty good about its releases, at least for my copies anyway, so here's to buying with confidence. So here is Super Saiyan Gotenks out of the box, and I gotta say guys, he is a pretty solid figure. Aesthetically, Gotenks looks great. The head sculpts are really well done, and I'm really digging how they turned out. You get 3 overall. I'm just going to show you quickly right here. There we go. And I think Tamashii did a really good job choosing, what kind of expressions we get with these interchangeable faces. For Gotenks' stock face, he has a cocky little smirk, which is how Gotenks, obviously was in the series, always confident and playful. The other 2 faces we get here are equally well done, just beautifully sculpted and some really clean paintwork and shading overall. Looking at the rest of his body, I really like what they've done with these shoulder pieces here on the vest. It isn't anything, new that we haven't seen before. They've just utilized this, the way that they've attached, shoulder pieces in the past, with Goku and other characters. At the back here, using ball joints. Gotenks does have a butterfly joint, and I really like how they've done that. The butterfly joint actually moves up and down, not side to side, but the butterfly joint here is actually part of the vest. And when you have the yellow pieces connected here, it really hides the shoulders well, and doesn't hinder articulation, which is great. His chest here is molded in this dark blue plastic, so the skin tone, I don't know if you guys can see too well, on his pecs here are a little darker than his lower torso, which is I guess a little disappointing. I don't understand why they couldn't have, molded this in the same skin tone color and then paint it blue. It would have worked out a lot better, and, it would have made it a lot more consistent in terms of, the coloring of the skin. The armbands here are slightly raised and painted in a solid black. The belt is molded a green plastic. There is no shading, but it is a soft plastic, so you do get some flex to it, which is good. Moving on to his pants, it's pretty familiar here. You got the 3 crotch pieces, the middle and the 2 sides, the left and the right, which has been used ever since we've gotten, the newer Dragon Ball releases, with Vegeta, with the newer Vegeta and the newer Trunks, and of course with Goku more recently as well. The sculpt work is really nice. I really like the way that the pants came out, especially here on the bottom of Gotenks' pants. So for head articulation, Gotenks does look side to side, but it is a little hindered by those yellow neck pieces. But if you give it a firm push, he does move his head past them. Gotenks doesn't really look up too much, and you do get that kind of, ugly gap between his neck and his chest. He does look down a lot better though, and he does have some tilt. For the pants is pretty familiar by now. We get the 3 crotch pieces right here, the middle and the 2 sides. Much like the newer Dragon Ball figures that we've been getting recently. you know, all the way back from Trunks and Vegeta, the newer Trunks and the Vegeta, and of course in, you know, more recently Goku. So they do have that same, you know, newer crotch style. But the rest of the pants I'm really liking. I'm really happy, especially here at the bottom. It could just be me, but I always remembered Gotenks and Gogeta having this kind of, you know, folded over pants design where you get the fold from one side to the other, not like Goku here where it just drapes all the way down, but you do get that fold from one side to the other, like here. And I'm really glad that they, you know, sculpted it that way. Now, in terms of paint, the pants here are molded in a grey plastic, but you do get some shading in the inner thighs at the bottom here as well. Got to mention that the kneecaps here are sculpted, but you do get, you know, you do see the joints there a little bit when you bend his knees like that. His ankle cuffs here are painted the same green color as his belt, and there really isn't any, you know, color difference. They match up pretty well. Looking at his feet are molded in a matte black sorry, his feet are molded in a matte black plastic, and they've got some paint detail here at the bottom, some grey there at the bottom. So yeah, just a overall really well painted, really sharp, really clean painted figure, except for the chest, which I did mention earlier. It doesn't match the rest of the skin tone too well, but it isn't the end of the world. Overall, they did use matte plastic, which I am happy with. So overall, I am pretty satisfied with the overall finish. So Gotenks does have a butterfly joint, but it's a butterfly joint that allows him to move his shoulders up and down. So he does get better than 90 degrees moving his arms out like that. Obviously, yes, his arms are on ball joints, so they do move in and out a little bit. These yellow shoulder pieces, as I mentioned before, are on ball joints on the back of his arm, so they don't hinder any articulation, and they hide, you know, the gap between his arm and his vest pretty well as well. You get 360 there at the shoulders, bicep swivel here, single jointed elbow, which I am a little disappointed in. I do wish he had double jointed elbows, you know, especially for this character. He does have a forearm swivel, but you do kind of have to force it, so I'm guessing that's not really, you know, officially, you know, articulation there. They don't really want you to articulate that. So, but I don't know, for your copies, it might be a little bit looser, it might be a little bit tighter, but for mine, I think I'm going to leave it as is and just use the bicep swivel here for that bit of articulation. Of course, he does have wrist swivel and hinges as well. For his chest and his lower torso, his vest is a solid plastic piece. It doesn't hinder articulation as I thought it would. He does get some ab crunch going back as well, but you do get a little bit of a gap there. He does move side to side at the upper torso and at the lower torso as well, no problems there. And you do get a lot of side to side tilt, which is really nice. Good for kicking poses. His belt, as I mentioned, is a soft plastic here, and it is loose, so it does move side to side, and you do get the swivel there at the tassel as well. Going on to his legs, he does have really good articulation. He does do the splits really well, way past the 180. Something that I have to mention is that every time I articulate his legs out like this, it makes a click. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but there we go. And it's because this crotch piece here rubs against the middle crotch piece. It might just be for my copy, but it is something to mention. So yeah, let me know if that's the case for your copy as well, if it's an issue. Obviously, you know, you're not going to get any paint rub because there isn't actually any paint, but just something to mention. Clicks out like that. Gotenks does kick out this far, which, yeah, I guess is enough. It's not the full splits, but it is enough. You get thigh swivel, double jointed knees, swivels here at the ankles, down, up, toe articulation, and you get some ankle tilt as well. Alright, for accessories, going with the hands, first of all, you do get 2 fisted hands that he does come packaged with. You get 2-piece hands right here. You get a pair of non-identical fighting pose hands. And you get a blast or an open palm hand here. And a pointy finger hand as well. With that, I did mention that I really do like the head sculpts that we get, the interchangeable faces. Here's a shouting one that he comes with. Looks really cool. And the other face plate that he comes with as well. With Gotenks, you also get a couple of attack effects. One being the Galactic Donut, which is a clear yellow plastic, and it's not a perfect circle. You do get some ridges here along the edges, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm really glad that they included this in. It's one of Gotenks' more iconic attacks, and it does get a stand here, a clip, which clips in and holds the galactic disc, sorry, the galactic donut, and you can peg it onto a stand, which it does come with. Gotenks does come with a stand, and it comes with 2 of these arm pieces. The other arm piece is for Gotenks' other attack, which is his super kamikaze ghost attack. And you know, I'm sure if you guys have seen Dragon Ball, I'm sure you of course you've seen Dragon Ball. You know, this is another one of Gotenks' really iconic attacks. He does have a peg hole here that you can plug in to the arm, so you can have the ghost, the kamikaze ghost, on the stand right here, which is a really cool feature. The ghost itself is molded in this clear blue translucent plastic. I can't talk, seriously. You know, I've been gone for a couple of weeks, and you know, you just can't talk. But anyway, yeah, going on back to the ghost, it is painted a frosty kind of bluish white color. You get the details here in the eyes, the purple tongue. I'm really glad that they included this. It is a really cool feature, a really cool effect piece, and really appropriate to Gotenks. You know, obviously we've been getting, you know, your standard ki blasts, you know, from Goku and, you know, other characters, but you know, the Buu arc, I think, is, you know, one of the arcs that has, you know, has some of the most interesting attacks, especially from Gotenks and from you know, Majin Buu, and you know, the other fusion characters like Gogeta and Vegito. But yeah, I really do wish that they included, you know, more than one ghost, but definitely not complaining, as it is a really cool accessory. So scale wise, I do actually think he is a little big. Here he is next to Goku and Kid Goku, and you can see that, you know, though he is shorter, there really isn't that much of a difference, you know, when you have Kid Goku. And I do know that he is a different scale from, you know, the Dragon Ball Z line. The Dragon Ball line is a different scale from the Dragon Ball Z line. I feel that Gotenks should be a little closer in terms of height with Kid Goku. But overall, I'm going to have to recommend Gotenks. Tamashii didn't give us a base form head this time, but I think they're going to make us buy, you know, the same figure again with the base form, and again with Super Saiyan 3. Which I honestly don't mind, as long as they give us, you know, different accessories with it, you know, a different attack effects, or even accessories we can use with, you know, other characters as well. The figure on its own is not perfect, though I've yet to... The figure isn't perfect, but in saying that, it does look pretty great aesthetically, and it does pose pretty well. Yeah, I am a little bit disappointed with the single jointed elbows, you know, the chest skin tone, not matching the rest of the body perfectly, but it's still a fun figure, and I do love the accessories that we get with, you know, the release. Gotenks, as well as many of the characters from the Boo arc, are quite unique, and I'm really looking forward to filling, more of those spots from that saga. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Likes and comments are always appreciated, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Hit that sub button and that bell button so you know the next time I upload a video. Hope you all have a great week. Take care, and I'll be seeing you soon.